Call Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Bakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Ruel. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. This is gonna go into a little history here. So here's the chronological order of the Maccabean Revolt, which can be found in the Apocrypha, which is printed in the 1611 King James Bible. You will find it. You will have the Old Testament, the New Testament, and then the Apocryphal books, for those who don't know. So we're just going to do a rundown of it. We're going to read some of the scriptures, get some of the key points, and then hopefully that'll be the video. But I wanted to cover this because it is important when you go into the book of Daniel and it talks about those four beasts. You can't have that without the Apocrypha, all right? Without the books that were already there. Daniel chapter 7 is where we need to be. So, I'll write this out. This will be a heavy scripture-based thing. Hopefully, you are edified. Okay, so this is the vision of the four beasts. All right, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. After I beheld, and lo, another was like a leopard, which had upon his back 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Okay, and then well, really, we want, and I beheld like a leopard, and this is where we're at. Okay, we're talking about that Hellenistic period where that was forced on our people. So couple of 100 years of not knowing who we were. So some who maintained the law, statutes, and commandments through the Levites or the Maccabean, Mattathias, his son Judas, and his brothers, and then the others who fell away into Greekish fashion. Okay, those are the other Gentiles. Those are when the Bible talks about that mixed multitude. Though not only is it from all nations because we were scattered, as the book prophesies that we would be because of our disobedience. But especially you can link that to today, where you have our people who are of Greekish fashion even now. Okay, they adopt the customs, they adopt the mannerisms, the holidays, or should I say heli days, all those things of America, which also, as those of us who are coming into the truth and have the understanding, we represent the circumcision in this instance, right? So we'll read 7 and what did I say? Okay, 7 and 6. After this I beheld, lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon his back 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it. Okay, so the continuation, you got the Greek Empire, the leopard, which is Alexander the Creep, and then it folds into that 4th beast, which is the Roman Empire, which you can find in the book of Maccabees, how the Greeks were trying to maintain whatever culture they had, but Rome was Rome's time, and they assimilated into the Roman Empire. So that you fast forward and you have what Yahushua was born into. He was born into Judea, being a vassal state, paying taxes to Rome, just as Judea was doing it to some of these Greek kings, so-called Greek kings. So let me put it back where we were. Okay, so Antiochus IV, okay, or Epiphanes, and this is where it starts. All right, so 175 BCE, and here are some points here. Under his rule, the Seleucid Empire tried to impose Hellenistic culture on the Israelites. All right, reference 1 Maccabee 10 through 15. So we're gonna hit that. Which one is it though? We'll just open up another one. So we'll go to 1st Maccabee, and then we'll also I want to pull it up in the GNT as well. One Maccabee. Come on, man. Oh, nope, we're at 1, I believe. What did I say? Dang it. 1st Maccabees 1 and 10. I went to 10. try to get it together first. Maccabees 1. Okay. So this spreads from Alexander, right? And when he died, his 4 generals took over, okay? After he defeated the Persian Empire, the third beast, or the second beast. Alright, fought many battles. Alexander, 12 years, okay? Then he died. After that, his 4 generals, right? They took control. Each had crowned himself king over his own territory. The descendants of these kings ruled for many generations and brought great deal of misery on the world. The wicked ruler Antiochus Epiphanes, right, or Antiochus IV, king or son of King Antiochus III of Syria, which was a descendant of one of Alexander's generals. So you see, they've been in power, right, ever since Alexander took that. And that was the rise of the Greek beast in Daniel 7, and also the rise of the Hellenistic. When you fast forward to Antiochus, right? Not through Alexander, which he did spread that, but he he kind of allowed our people to be autonomous a little. But let's get back to where we need to get, because there's it's actually a lot that I kind of want to cover. Okay, so the third Assyria was a descendant of one of Alexander's generals. Okay, Antiochus Epiphanes had been a hostage in Rome before he had become king of Syria, right? So his father lost some battles in Rome to the Romans, and as a token of good faith, or token of them keeping the treaty, he gave his son to be a hostage in Rome, and that is Antiochus IV. All right, at the time appeared in the land of Israel a group of traitorous Israelites who had no regard for the law, who had a bad influence on many of our people, and they said, "Let us come to terms with the Gentiles, for our refusal to associate with them has brought us nothing but trouble." Right? So when you stand out, you get in trouble, especially when you're surrounded by a bunch of Edomites. Some of them came, they were enthusiastic about it, so they went to the king and received from him permission to follow Gentile customs. Right? They built stadiums in Jerusalem, okay, like the Greek cities, basically adopting that worldly vibration, okay, likening themselves unto your enemies. All right, they had surgeries. No, where we go? Let me fast forward. All right, so when Antiochus had firmly established himself as king, he decided to conquer Egypt and rule the country as well as Syria. Okay, so if you fast forward, there are letters. You know what? Let's not get too far into it. Okay, let me stick to our little syllabus here. All right. So we fast forward, and this is down to the so we'll get down to 41, and then Maccabees 6, 1 through 11 describes the desecration of the temple, where this devil, sacrificed an abomination on the temple, and it is said that he erected a statue of Zeus, right? He basically sacrificed swine's blood, and then or put swine's blood on the temple and erected an idol in our temple. Okay, and before Yahushua, the only way that we communed with the Most High through the Levites, or through Levitical priesthood, is with the temple. All right, so we'll read 41 through 64, and I'm gonna just keep it in the in this one, in the GNT. Okay, and you can go and read that in the, where are we at? This one right here on your own. All right, so strong. Where are we at? Too far. Okay, here we go. 41, chapter 1, 41. Antiochus now issued a decree that all nations in his empire should abandon their customs and become one people. All right, all the Gentiles and even many of the Israelites submitted to this decree. They adopted official pagan religion offered sacrifices unto idols, and no longer observed the Sabbath. And what did the Lord say about the Sabbath? All right. You mess it up, and you are cut off. All right. He said unto them that which Yahweh has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy day. No. Now what I want is where it actually says he will be cut off. All right, so Exodus 20:8, remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. What is holy? To be set apart, right? No work, okay, for you, your maidservants. All right, nobody within the gate. It's a day of rest. There we go. Exodus 31:14, ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. And everyone that defileth shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut from among his people. All right, we had a lot of our people adopting the ways of the heathen, as it says here, furthering that divide between the circumcised and the uncircumcision that is talked about in the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the book of Acts, right? When you fast forward into the New Testament, into the Roman captivity in Yahushai's time. Alright, King also sent messengers with decrees to Jerusalem not to offer burnt offering, grain offering, wine offering in the temple, right? Treat the Sabbath as festival, ordinary work day. Alright, you see? This boy. Commanded to build pagan altars, sacrifice pigs and other unclean animals there, right? So a complete falling away. So you had certain generations of it, or certain families of Israelites who was like, all right, we'll get down with the heathen. And those, fast forward, couple generations where you don't keep your customs, you don't keep your practices, you are no longer considered an Israelite, especially to those of the circumcision, especially to those who stood and they know the history of what Hanukkah was. All right, their ancestors died fighting for this, and then Yahushua comes and says, these quote unquote Greeks, all right, they can be saved. Like, this is, I am he whom the book speaks of, and I'm telling you, I'm giving them this through faith. So the other believers were pissed about that. That's where you have that disconnect. Okay, we'll fast forward to 6. One thing I don't like about this one is all the ads. So it goes into a little bit more detail on the 6th, right? I'm sorry, in the 6th chapter, 1 through 11. Okay, so here's and then if we fast forward, we got the outbreak of the revolt, 167 BCE. So we'll get that. We'll go back to 2. Alright, as King Antiochus IV was passing through Mesopotamia, he heard of a city in Persia, famous for its riches and gold. Alright. And says we learned these plans too. Alright. And okay, Israelites pulled. Yes, alright, so they pulled this is the start of it right here. They pulled down that thing, that abomination that was set up, okay? Pissed Antiochus off, right? So when the king heard this report, he was so defiled and terribly shaken that he went to bed in a fit of deep depression because things had not turned out how he wanted. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think we got enough on that one. Okay, so as we move forward, okay, Mattathias, a priest, refused to offer pagan sacrifices and killed a fellow, well, I shouldn't say Jew, fellow Israelite who was willing to comply with Antiochus' orders. All right, so here's where we got the revolt going, okay, and now you got the formation of the Maccabean army, which will, that's a lot to read. You should read that on your own. But they fled to the hills, right, gathering supporters after Mattathias' death, and his son Judas. So Mattathias told him, gird up your loins like a man, handle business, okay? Because what first happened was a lot of our people ended up being slain because they didn't want to fight on the Sabbath, and it was showed, okay, they exercised some reason, and they figured, if we don't fight, these devils, these heathen are coming. If we don't fight, we'll be rooted out of the earth. All right, and that was another one of the things that brought about the Maccabean revolt. Okay, so it talks about the early victories. What do we want to grab through here? So you know what? We'll read a little bit through the rebellion, all right, where he talks about Mattathias' zeal right there. That's something we shouldn't skip over. So we'll get the second chapter of Maccabees. Okay, so Mattathias had 5 sons: John, Simon, Judas, and Eleazar. Okay. And Jonathan, Slack. Okay. He saw the sins that were being committed in Judea and Jerusalem. Temples like someone without honor. Let's look at our temple profaned by the Gentiles. Here we go. So the king's officials who were forcing people to turn from God came to the town of Modin to force the people there to offer pagan sacrifices. Many of the Israelites came to meet them, including Mattathias and his sons. The king's officials said to Mattathias, "You are a respected leader in the town, and you have the support of your sons and relatives," right? So they went straight to the head. All right, if Mattathias does it, if we can get him to do it, we can get everybody else to do it, right? Not taking into account the Spirit of the Lord being on that man and his sons. All right, so skip to 19. Mattathias answered with a loud voice, I do not care if every Gentile in this empire has obeyed the king and yielded to the command to abandon the religion of his ancestors. My children, my relatives, and I will continue to keep the covenant that God made with our ancestors. Okay. Alright, just as he finished speaking, one of the men from Modin decided to obey the king's decree and stepped out in front of everyone to offer a pagan sacrifice on the altar that stood there, right? So this is just mouth open, just ready to do whatever. He walked, not even regarding anything about what Mattathias said. Alright, so Mattathias saw him, he became angry, and shaking with rage, ran forward and killed the man right there on the altar. Alright, right there in front of the royal official, who he also slew for people, alright, for the people to say, let me just read it. He also killed the royal official who was forcing the people to sacrifice, and then he tore down the altar. So let's fast forward a little bit. Alright, prepare to attack them on the Sabbath. And these heathen knew, they understood the custom. Alright, they prepared that on the Sabbath, especially on the Sabbath. Okay, there's still time. They shouted out to the Israelites, come and obey the king's commands, we will spare your lives. Alright, we will not obey. And he's saying we'll died. If you kill us, we will have died. You would have killed us unjustly. Alright, so they're leaving it up to Yahweh to avenge them. Okay, so when Mattathias and his friends heard the news about this, they were greatly saddened, and they said to one another, if all of us do as the other Israelites have done and refuse to fight the Gentiles to defend our lives and our religions, we will soon be wiped off the face of the earth. Okay, so that's what I was talking about right there. Okay, so the formation of the Maccabean army. Alright, so at first it was Judas, and then it was passed down to each of, or not all of the brothers, but each of them, because they ended up being slew. Judas, right there in battle, and I believe one of the other brothers ended up being betrayed by an Edomite. Go figure. Let's see. Battle of Emmaus. Okay. So we'll skip to the rededication of the temple. You can read through these on your own. Alright, so we'll skip down to that, or where it talks about that's what the Feast of Dedication is, Hanukkah, which Yahushua attended. Alright, so let's cue that up real quick. Boom. Alright, so we'll just read through this. So this is something I just want to grab that because Yahushua celebrated this. Celebrated the fall of the heathen, taking back of the temple. Alright, winning many battles. And it was at Jerusalem in the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter, and Yahushua walked up to the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came one of the Israelites round about, and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the anointed, tell us plainly. Okay, Yahushua said to them, I told you, ye believe not the works that I do in my Father's name, that they bear witness. So there is a discourse here, but what I really wanted to just grab was Yahushua being present, okay, at the Feast of Dedication, which you can only find within the Apocrypha. It gives you that history with Maccabees, and I think it's goes even a little further with the third, fourth, and fifth book of Maccabees, with the fourth book going into a little bit more detail on just how crazy that the persecution was. What else do we? Rededication, that's what we need. Okay, so let's go to the 4th chapter and then the 10th chapter. Actually, we're going to do 10, 1 through 8. We won't read all of it. We'll get some key points. Okay, in the year 160, Alexander Epiphanes, son of Antiochus IV, okay, landed at Ptolemy's and captured it. He gathered a large army and went out to meet to the battle. Alright, in hope of winning Jonathan over. Demetrius thought that Jonathan would certainly remember all the wrongs he had done to him, his brothers, and the entire Israelite nation. No, this ain't it. Okay, so let me go back to the 4th. This is the 4th. Let's go to the 4th chapter. But if there was ever a movie made about this, man. Okay, these are just talking about some of the victories. Alright, a lot of these devils, they outnumbered our people every time, but the Lord ensured that that our people persevered, that we won at the end. Okay. Qualified, devoted. Put stones in suitable places. Alright, so they're putting it, restoring the temple right here. Okay, and then they took uncut stones, as the law of Moses required, built a new altar like the old one. Repaired the temple inside and out, in courtyards. They made new utensils for worship. Okay. Boom, 20th day of the 9th month of Kislev, the year 148, was the anniversary of the day the Gentiles had desecrated the altar. On that day, a sacrifice was offered on the new altar in accordance with the law of Moses. Okay, the new altar was dedicated and hymns were sung to accomplish harps, lutes, and cymbals. Alright. Decorated the front of it. Alright, Judas and his brothers and the entire community of Israel decreed that the rededication of the altar should be celebrated with a festival of joy and gladness at the same time each year, beginning on the 25th of the month of Kislev, the lasting for 8 days. There's your Hanukkah. Okay, our Hanukkah. Now we'll just hit on a couple of these points here, and then that should be, yeah, that'll be the video. Okay, so we got the rededication, and then the continued warfare and expansion. All right. So we was running through there whooping feet. And let me see. I might have, okay, resisted the Hellenistic influences. Alright, death of Judas Maccabeus. And then it'll go into where his brother, I believe it was Jonathan, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so Jonathan succeeded him, alright, as a leader, and continuing to resist the Seleucid influence and maintain Israelite autonomy. Okay, and that was the big thing that these heathen could not stand. It was cool for a little bit, and then next thing you know, somebody said something, or one of these heathen got jealous. I'm telling you, if you have not read through this entire book from start to finish, 1 and 2, you are doing yourself a disservice. Let's see. What did I miss? What did I miss? We'll go 9. First Maccabees chapter 9. We'll get that. And alright, never let it be said that I ran from a battle. Alright, come let us die bravely for our fellow Israelites, and not leave any stain on our honor. Alright, this is 9 and First Maccabees 9 and 10. Okay, we're gonna shook with the noise of the two armies. Okay, and yeah, this is where he was killed here. So they buried him. And the other deeds of Judas in his battles, courageous deeds, of great accomplishment, too many to write down. Alright. So after Judas died, the lawless traitors began to reappear. Right, roaches coming out the woodwork in Judea, and all the wicked people returned. That is wild. Okay, so it was an up and down thing, up and down. There is a lot of plot twists within this. I'm telling you, this is one of the most amazing reads, especially if you like, something like reading something like Game of Thrones. Okay, so today we chose you, that is Jonathan, to succeed him as our ruler and commander to carry on our war. Jonathan accepted the leadership in that day and took the place of his brother Judas. Okay. Look at that. Again, heard about this and arrived on the Sabbath day at the banks. These could underhanded every time these devils came at them on the Sabbath day so many times, thinking that they were going to have an advantage. But the Lord had mercy, clear and apparent mercy. Okay, so I think, yeah, we've covered enough. If you want to go into this on your own and make some key points, I will put this here. I'll link this entire thing, this entire chronological occurrence of the Maccabean Revolt for you. You can read through it on your own, hit the key points, and gather some other precepts. But again, I implore you, if you have not read through the book of Maccabees, you have truly done yourself a disservice, especially on gaining knowledge and linking precepts together, and and sharpening your sword is what I'm trying to say. Good grief, I can't even get my words out right. So with that being said, I pray that you were edified. Shalom.